Hello and welcome to another edition of the How to Grow Your E-commerce Business podcast. I'm here with Matthew Stafford and he's from Build, Grow, Scale. Matthew, would you like to start by telling us about your e-commerce journey?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. It's a little more unique than most. I was actually pouring commercial concrete, and I had done it for about 23 years. When
Excellent.
I, I was traveling all over the country, but I was actually in hotel rooms about 200 days of the year, and so I realized that I didn't want to keep doing that. And I went to a Tony Robbins event, and he was selling a program called Money Masters. And in there, what they did is they sent you a DVD and a booklet once a month with different people that were actually selling things online and really very successful at it. And the very first one was Frank Kern, who was selling an ebook on how to teach your parrot to talk. And then they had Russell Brunson and Dean Jackson, a whole bunch of the other people that are actually several of them are my friends now. And so I saw that and I thought, wow, I could use my computer to make money rather than
When
just
was this? How long ago was this?
about 15 years ago, 15,
Okay.
16 years ago. Yeah. And from there, I started thinking, wow, if I could do this, I wouldn't have to travel and I could make money from wherever. And I could literally be location independent. And so from that area, I kind of set a goal. I said, all right, I'm going to figure this out and be 100% out of the concrete business in the next 5 years. And I started getting after it. In the first year, I tried SEO and I didn't like it at all. Didn't really enjoy it. And then from there, a t-shirt platform came out. It was a new concept. It was essentially they had created a piece of software where you could pick your shirt, the different styles of shirts and colors, and then put a design on them and then run Facebook's ads at it.
You like print on demand?
Yeah, yep. And however many of the shirts sold at the end of the campaign, it would cut off and they would print them and ship them for you. So for me, I didn't have to worry about anything other than coming up with the design and running Facebook ads at that. And so I could do it from anywhere. And the very first, very successful shirt that I had was when I learned how to get people's names off of the Facebook IDs, which again, this was 15 years ago. And I targeted the people with the last name Schmidt. And I had funny shirts that said like Schmidt happens.
Okay.
I had another one that said I'm a little Schmidt, and just a whole bunch of different things that turned into a huge following there. And that shirt in about 48 hours made about 40, 50 grand worth of sales.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, wow, this could actually be real for me. And from there, I invited 5 people. We created a small Facebook group and we all shared ideas and helped each other. And over the next 3 years, we sold about $15 million for the t-shirts.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of t-shirts.
Yeah. And then from there, that company made some poor decisions and it kind of fizzled out a little bit, as people basically went and created their own stores and started doing very similar ideas. There's a lot of print on demand Shopify sites for quite a while that launched off of that. And so I transitioned into a Shopify store and we sold kitchen products.
Okay. So you've done, and I'm actually, do you know what? I'm interested in concrete. That you must have poured a lot of concrete. Were you doing it in big buildings then, or something?
Yeah. So we did big box stores. So it was like Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, Walmart. We literally
did big old contract. Was that your company or was it?
Yeah, nope, it was mine. I built it we started off doing driveways and sidewalks. And before we were done, we poured our largest pour was 97,000 square feet. It was 1,764 yards in one day. And so you figure that out, like each concrete truck has about 9 yards in it. So it was hundreds of trucks of concrete in one day. Yeah.
Okay, but you had enough of concrete.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't even that I didn't like it. I really actually enjoyed it because we had very cool processes. I kind of did the same thing there that I did with e-commerce and tried to optimize and problem solve so that we could get the most square footage done with the least amount of people.
Yeah.
And we got very good at it. We poured about 1 million square feet a year for a lot of years.
Wow. Interesting. Proper work.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is,
Yeah. Yeah. Backbreaking work. I think
God.
that's what made me enjoy the e-commerce side of it too, is I took a lot of the offline stuff that worked and figured out how to make it work online.
Okay. So
And
good.
that gave us a more unique perspective.
Okay. Well, that brings us on to Build Grow. Tell us about Build Grow Scale.
Yeah. So, like I said, we had started a kitchen brand, and I did that with a friend at the time. His name was Tanner Larson, who you know of.
Yes.
And when we started that brand, he started teaching what I was doing. And so I had very quick success with that right off the bat. When we started running ads to it, we started selling 100, 150 units a day. And we were like, oh, this is going to be great. And I started adding upsells and other things like apps to the store, thinking that that I was God's gift to e-commerce and nothing would ever not work. And the more stuff I added, the worse it got. And so at that point, I had to get really real because we had a couple $100,000 worth of inventory in our warehouse in the back room that now we were breaking even some days. Some days we were losing money. Some days we were making money. It was very sporadic.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a guy that was teaching Google Analytics, and he sold 6 phone calls, a weekly call for 6 weeks for $1,000. And so I thought, wow, I'm going to buy that and learn how to look at the data and analytics and make this better. And from there, after about the second call, I was just like, for me, your mind will never go back to where it was once it's expanded. And when I saw all that data, I was like, okay, I can use this to scale our ads and make this work so much better. And we went back to selling 2, 3, 400 units a day. And then Tanner actually created like an online info product to show what we were doing and how we were using analytics to do that. And that's kind of what kicked off his and my partnership with Build Grow Scale.
Excellent. So, tell us, what is it about? What's made Build Grow Scale unique?
Yeah, I think we're very data driven. So it doesn't matter what you're selling, it doesn't matter the price point, because everybody's got all different size. We have clients that have a $2,000-$3,000 price point. We have ones that have $50 to $80 and everything in between. And so we're very product agnostic. We use data and analytics to see exactly what people are doing on the website and then optimize it to get them to do the actions that we want them to.
Okay. So, is that your own proprietary software, or do you use things like Google Analytics?
Yeah, we use Google Analytics and Tag Manager, and then we have Visual Website Optimizer as a split testing platform.
Yeah.
So something that everybody can use. One of the very first things we do when we talk to people about an engagement, we find out what their level of use is of Google Analytics and the Tag Manager, and then that's where we start because we want to look at the data. And now with AI, us being able to look at the data is so much even more powerful than it was before because it can process way more than we could ever do manually. So for the last 10, 12 years, we always did it manually. Now we use AI and it's changing our business very quickly.
Okay. So how do you, because, I've been in e-commerce for like 15 years. And to begin with, I built my own, one of the first websites I got, I got some developers and built it myself. And, now these days, almost everyone uses Shopify. And websites have started to look an awful lot more similar than they used to.
Yeah.
How does that affect your job? Does it make it, because I think that, I had an e-commerce web business. I was using Magento. And as soon as we moved to Shopify and we found that our conversion rate went up by about 25% just because it worked that much better.
100%.
Shop pay and do you find that makes people need you less, or is it just you can help people more?
I think we can help them more, and the reason why it's so much easier to work on, it has, when they created the app marketplace and allowed people to build apps that you could then use in your store. It gave them the ability to move much quicker than the other platforms. and it kind of took the lion's share of the new business. So I would say we've done a lot of moving brands from like WooCommerce and BigCommerce over to Shopify, and we've experienced the exact same thing, that the exact same store, just on the new platform, the conversions went up. So it's faster. The other reason why I believe that it works is it's more, like you said, people are used to the way Shopify works now, because so many of the sites are on that. So they understand, what the buttons mean, where the footer is, what the, navigation, etc. And then also the checkout. So in the first 4 or 5 years, we had a lot of proprietary code that we would inject into the checkout through the Google Analytics opening. And so
Mhm.
we were able to optimize the checkout to a point where just us putting that in would give people a huge lift. And over time, as people got used to Shopify's cart or checkout, that lift showed less and less and less as their conversions went up. We realized, okay, yes, it worked when it was the wild, wild west. Now we have to get even better and figure out other ways in order to get those lifts. And so that's,
Yeah. Oh, it was
I,
the first
go ahead.
the first time I saw Shopify was like the first time I saw an iPhone. I just thought I
Oh,
have to have
yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So what are common mistakes that So what are common mistakes you see that um, people come to you with? Shall we say?
Yeah, I would say one big one is they think more is better. Like they just want to like basically show you everything that they have for sale, and they think that by doing that, that you will make more sales. And what happens is it usually makes the site um, look less professional, less trustworthy. And so we have a very specific process of, like, your homepage is not made for selling. That isn't made for them to, when they land on the page, do I trust this company? Are they selling what I'm looking for? And how do I find like easy navigation to what I'm looking for? When you get the navigation right and you use search and filters will be your largest revenue producer on your store, because the people that can find what they're looking for or can type in a problem and get it solved will actually end up converting about twice the site average and about 3 to 4 times the value.
Okay.
So then from there, I would say having a set of filters, make it very easy for people to chunk it down. The closer that they can select what they're looking for, like if you're selling clothes, give them the ability to select colors, sizes.
So good attributes so the people
Yeah,
can filter on.
yeah, and every time that people use those, they'll convert much higher than people that have to like go to dresses and then scroll through 50 of them to find what they're looking for. They say blue dress, the knee length and these sizes, and that shows them the 4 blue dresses that you have. You have a much better chance of selling than just going to the dress category and letting them scroll through your dresses.
Hmm.
Then from there, the product page, we also say, once you get to the product page, you need to have a hierarchy of focus, which means the next most important action that you want them to take from the product page all the way through to the checkout is the button to stand out, so that they know, like, okay, this is the next most important thing to do. And what
Hmm.
I mean by that is a lot of people always go, oh, I want to test the button color because that's what they know how to test. Well, the truth of the matter is the button color doesn't matter. The text on the button matters way more as far as
Hmm.
conversions are concerned. But the color portion of it, what matters is if your theme on your store is black and yellow, that you don't use black and yellow buttons that blend
Needs to
in
just
with
be
all the other
contrast.
stuff. We want it to stand out. It can be blue, green, you know, lots of different colors, but not black or yellow, because we want it to look like, okay, this is the next thing that I do. And then they don't even have to think about it.
Okay. So, what kind of companies do you work with? What's your kind of, what's your ideal client?
Yeah. The ones that we actually go in and help them build, grow, and scale their business, where we partner with them. I say partner, it's where we do all their data and analytics. We do all their split testing, have a weekly call and help them build through using data to scale. They typically are doing about 200,000 a month, and
Hmm.
then up from there. We have some that are even doing 4 or 5 million a month, but that's more rare. So I would say typically the 3 million up range, and and also the other thing that I would say is they need to be coachable. So so many brands come to us and they want to pay us to help them. And then we say, hey, this is what the data shows. And they're like, oh, wow, that's off brand. And I'm like, well, off brand, how you have a brand is making sales. And if the data shows that this is the way to make more sales, then this is how you'll have more lifetime
Need to be
customers.
an open mindset, a growth mindset.
Yeah. And so, because we want to win too. And so, if we know that the data tells us that if we do X, Y, Z, we're going to win, we want people that are not emotionally attached to things that are not data driven.
Hmm. So what is the kind of your usual kind of client journey? Is it, do you do it over the course of years, or is it a kind of a um, how do you take people through your process?
Yeah, so we have a lot of free resources on our website. So if people are doing less than that bigger number where we can't really partner with them, we have some smaller things that we would do. We have an 8-week program. We also do audits where we'll go through and share a whole bunch of our best practices through their site. But uh, in all reality, you can get that from the podcasts that we have right on our website. So you could
Hmm.
go watch those, use that information to kind of continue to make improvements. And then from there, when you go, hey, we're growing, and rather than hire a full-time team, we'd like to have you do this where you already have people that have been doing it for 10 years and know exactly what to do. And you can just tell us the process and move forward. And so that's really the journey. It's either you're doing that much now and you're struggling to be profitable, or you're profitable and you want to be able to scale, or you're small and you want the information that you need in order to get to that point.
Okay. So what do you think turns a good e-commerce business into a great one?
Good question.
The difference between the two.
Yeah, I will tell you, we work with a lot of brands, and the thing that takes them from good to great is customer service.
Uh-huh.
Really, you'd be shocked at how many people want to be in e-commerce because they don't want to talk to people or they don't want to deal with people, and they
Okay.
think that from behind their computer they don't have to. That always reflects in their business. The ones who treat their customers like it's their mom and they're going to take care of them no matter what, those brands always find a way to weather the storm, be more profitable, scale when times are good, and hunker down when times are tight. Because even in e-commerce, we've seen it for the last 12, 15 years. There's cycles in it. There's times when like the iOS changes that
Hmm.
created a huge controversy and a lot of very hard times for a lot of brands. In fact, I think that it's like a natural weeding out of the people who didn't take their business serious, or who didn't run a good business. And so the people that were able to hunker down had a lot more market share by the time they came out on the other side.
So what do you mean by customer service? I mean, do you mean the classic kind of Zappos thing where someone would ring them up and they'd order a pizza for them or something? Or do you mean, could you give me some examples of what do you think it takes?
Yeah. So, one, yes, having a phone. I think that matters again. There was
Yeah.
quite a while where you didn't need a phone, but I think if you have someone who's willing to answer the phone and talk to people, you'll be shocked at how much better you understand your customers and how many things that they will tell you about, that would help you improve your business. In fact,
Hmm.
one of the greatest split tests, or not, it's actually not even a split test, but one of the greatest techniques that we've ever done, and it's probably responsible for 6 of 10 of our biggest wins over the last 4 or 5 years, which have resulted in tens of millions of dollars in sales, is on the thank you page. We have a little pop up that says, what was the one thing that almost made you not buy?
Hmm.
But when people put that, and then those people who just bought tell them what they didn't understand, what they didn't think was good, where the friction was, we can go back through that buyer's journey and make it even better, and they'll make more sales.
Okay. So it's just really listening to the customers, you think?
Yeah. Yep. And so many people think they are their customer that they make a lot of assumptions. And the moment they start talking to the ones that are actually high quality customers, they'll find out so much more that they just have a blind spot to it, but they can't see it because that's why it's a blind spot
Hmm.
until someone tells them.
So is it just so you just deal with websites? You don't deal with things like Amazon and eBay and
No, we just deal with the websites, and then we also I hired a CEO, and he's been with us about a year now. He built a couple of very large businesses on Amazon and sold those and retired. Then for about 6 months, he said it just didn't work for him, so he came back to work. And so now we actually have not only do we help them with their website, but we also have an Amazon division where we help them put their business up on Amazon or optimize their Amazon sales.
Okay. So what do you kind of, obviously you work across a number of e-commerce businesses. What are the latest trends that people should be looking out for?
Um, I would say AI is certainly making huge inroads in because of the way that we can look at the data. Also, what I've noticed from several very smart store owners is how they use it to make their people more efficient. So what
Hmm.
it used to take, a 10-person team to run a store, now they can do it with 5 or 6
Hmm.
and actually grow it twice as big because the people are so efficient. So I really think learning how to use AI to be a strategic thinking partner and then to supercharge your employees to be essentially a lot more productive with less hours. So instead of forcing them to work 50, 60 hours, now they can get their job done in 30, 35, or 40 at max, and then still get a lot more output.
Hmm. So you don't expect people to work like, do AI and still work really hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I wouldn't expect them to work as many hours as I do. I still work a lot, but I actually enjoy it. I choose to do it. So, um, I understand that a lot of people don't like to work that hard too. So.
Well, sometimes. So what, uh, where do you think the whole AI thing is going with just in general? I mean, do you think it's going to, I mean, are we going to see, because are we going to see AI kind of AI chat combined with search?
Yep, and
Uh,
I really genuinely believe that it's gonna get to the point where the AI, has a cookie on us, and so that my experience on the website will be tailored to me. Your experience on the exact same website will be tailored to you, etcetera, and so it'll be very, I believe that we will continue to see conversions go up and get better and better because the experience is better. So if you think
mhm,
about it, average e-commerce is like 2 to 3% sales, and
mhm,
if you have a phone, if you sold 2 to 3% of the people that called in, uh, you wouldn't be very happy. So really, the experience on the website is falling short of what people's expectations are, and that's why conversions are so low, and that's where we focus. Because if we can take a site that's converting 2 or 3 out of 100 visitors, that means we have 97 that raised their hand, came and looked, and left without buying.
yeah,
Everybody thinks, "Oh, I need more traffic." It's not true. If I can get 3 of those 97 that left to
doesn't seem
buy,
likely,
I
right?
doubled the business on the same amount of ad spend. Now all of a sudden, we're getting 6 customers out of 100 when our competitors are getting 2 or 3, and so we can buy market share very fast.
So what is the highest conversion rate you see in your, what would you expect as a good conversion rate? And what are the kind of, what's the best you've seen?
Yeah, the best I've ever seen is about 10%, and that was during the 4th quarter, so it was a brand that had a lot of momentum, and we had been working with
They
them
sold
through.
Christmas trees or something, did they?
Yeah. No, no, but, I would say, it's very your conversion rate is very dependent on your average order value. So the higher the average order value, the lower your conversion rate will be. So we have a
Yeah,
company that has a $2,000 average order value, they would love to have 1% conversion. We have a company that has an $80 average order value, they convert at, 4.5, 5%. So
yeah.
it's not the conversion rate that matters. It's really how profitable can you be when someone comes and raises their hand, and wants to buy
So
from you.
you're saying conversion rate is important, but it's not everything. It's profitability at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Who cares if you do $10 million, but it takes you 10 million, to do it.
No, you can sell dollars for, you can sell dollars. If you sold dollars for 90 cents, you've been amazing. You do it all day long.
Right.
Okay. How about this? What are your top 5 bits of advice for e-commerce sellers? See if we can get to 5. We can go further if you like.
Yeah. No, I would say, 1, customer service.
Yep.
Number 1. 2, know your data, because then that way you're not just throwing ideas against the wall and trying to figure out what sticks. You can be a lot more laser focused. 3, have a hero product that gets people to into your community or ecosystem, so that then you can follow up and market with them and create a relationship.
Like a repeat purchase product or
or something that you can use as a loss leader or break even. Because if you can acquire customers at break even, then you can scale a very large business. 4, I would say, I'll use website principles and say, there's a paradox of choice. So don't think more is better. If you can offer 12 colors of a t-shirt, don't. Because when you do that, you actually create, they go, oh, I like the pink one. Oh, I like this shade too. I like the blue one. And then what happens is they go, I'll just come back later. Every single time when we've reduced the number of choices, conversion rate goes up. So I would say, be aware of the buyer psychology and the way that people interact with your website online. And then 5, I would say, learn how to use AI to supercharge your team, because then you'll be able to get a lot more done than the average store owner who's afraid of it.
Okay. That all seems like very good advice. Okay. Excellent. I've got one final question for you. What's inspired you recently? Have you seen any good films, any good books you've read?
Yeah, it's definitely not focused around e-commerce. I read a
Please,
book.
not e-commerce related. We talked about e-commerce enough.
Yeah. I read a book called The AI-Driven Leader, and it was a great book, and it really talked about how to use AI as a strategic thinking partner, not as something that you're just using for answers, but a way to actually think better, because over time, the human element is still going to matter as to who's directing it and how to use it as an effective tool.
The AI-driven leader. Okay, that sounds good. Where can people find you online if they want to get in touch?
Yeah, buildgrowscale.com. And my email is matt@buildgrowscale.com. Like I said, we have a bunch of free resources. They can go on there and use those, or if they want to book an appointment and just have me do an audit with them on the website, I'm happy to do that.
Excellent. Matthew, it's been great talking to you. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Trevor.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.